Last week, during a CNN roundtable discussion about the LA fires, there was a very odd definitive statement made that everyone just accepted and then they just moved on. The sort of claim that when you hear it, you think, well, hold on, that can't be true, but there's no real challenge to it, so we're all just supposed to pretend that it is. But Scott Jennings, their conservative personality, made the point that all the city and fire departments' concern for diversity has clearly taken the focus off of where it belongs: firefighting capability.
Was that there were too many white men who were firefighters, and we need to have a program in California to make sure we don't have enough white men as firefighters. So I'm wondering now, if your house was burning down, how much do you care what color the firefighters are?
Obviously true, but we're supposed to believe that in a fire emergency, mutual lesbianism is the reliable extinguisher.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better.
On CNN, Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett got the rebuttal and insisted on several false or irrelevant points. Diversity programs and affirmative action are actually about hiring on merit, because the former policy was whites only somehow.
We are looking at qualifications. What diversity, equity, and inclusion has always been about is saying, you know what? Open this up. Don't just look at the white men. Open it up and recognize that other people can be qualified.
And yet, LAFD leadership personnel are hired on six-figure salaries while not just unqualified, but openly denying the responsibilities of the job. But of course, that's reasonable in the somehow relevant historical context of slave labor building the White House.
The same very people that built this country, because the last time I checked, y'all didn't say that anything was wrong with the White House, and I can promise you it was my ancestors that built the White House.
Yeah, and I guarantee there was way less complaining on that work site, ironically. But more importantly, why someone doing a job centuries ago means someone else of similar demographic is qualified to do another job today is unexplained. Everyone's ancestors built something. It doesn't mean that you are qualified to build anything until you get to work and you actually do it. But to the claim I'm getting at, Crockett said that hiring her demographic, black women, for firefighting is just the natural consequence of all their amazing qualifications, because black women are the most educated demographic in the country.
There was an article that just came out that said that actually the most educated demographic in this country right now is black women.
Well, obviously. Where do you think she got all that prowess for congressional clapbacks?
If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
It's the one and only Digo Double G. Snoop Dogg.
A what now?
Now, if, like James Comer, you don't get it, well, that's because you're part of a comparatively uneducated demographic, of course. But even if the claim was true that we are a society ruled by philosopher queens of color, are college degrees necessarily useful in firefighting? Don't worry, I'm here to rescue you from this burning high-rise with an essay on Plato's Republic. Or, more realistically in this scenario, I'm here not to rescue you with an examination of the philosophy of fire from a gender-critical black queer perspective.
Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Point being, education doesn't mean you can carry a person in danger either. Physical strength and courage do. But even more to the point, is it actually true? Black women are the most educated demographic? Because I think we all know a lot of studious Asian senseis who would like a word otherwise. And no, that's not supposed to be some big mysterious teaser. I think we all know instinctively that's not true. But one, if they're just going to move on from this claim without challenge, someone's got to correct the record. And two, it's always important to know why these claims are false, and at least to me, always entertaining to understand the gymnastics they're performing to try to make it true. So let's consider the claim. Crockett says that black women are the most educated demographic, according to what? According to a recent article.
There was an article that just came out.
What article? Unspecified. But over at Western Journal, author Douglas Golden tried to figure out what that recent article is. According to his search, the only semi-recent article to make this claim is one from something called ThoughtCo, which hosts education news and analysis, though personally, I'm not very convinced of its quality on first encounter. ThoughtCo, on September 21st, published a headline of the same claim, that black women are the most educated demographic in America. But again, according to what? According to 10-year-old data, a study from 2014. See footnote 4. What is footnote 4? A 2014 article with broken formatting in HBCU Buzz, as in historically black colleges and universities Buzz. It seems very generous to call this page a study, but they do. What is their source? A guy's YouTube video from 2014 citing Census Bureau data from 2011.
African American women have surpassed all groups in college entrance based upon race and gender. 9.7%. Historic and monumental.
Yeah, some problems. One, does the 14-year-old data still hold today? We'll get to that in a moment. But two, notice his metric. College enrollment. Does enrollment mean that they're the most educated? Why are we counting degrees before they're earned? Because if we count degrees actually earned, the claim falls apart. The ThoughtCo piece says, wow, even though black women are only 13% of women, they're earning most of the degrees among black people. Now, if you're furrowing your brow with confusion about what that actually means, don't worry, so did I. All they're saying is that black women are earning more degrees than black men, that within their racial demographic, black women are outpacing black men in earning degrees more so than, say, white women are outpacing white men or Asian women are outpacing Asian men. But that likewise does not mean that black women are the most educated demographic. It means that black women are earning more degrees than black men are, and that gender gap is wider among black people than it is within other racial groups. You can explain this trend just as validly by saying black men are performing very poorly in educational attainment, actually, but they don't tell you that part. But let's eliminate all the noise and just simplify the concept. If someone said to you, X is the most educated demographic, what would that mean to you? Most likely, you would think something like, wow, that group must earn a lot of degrees compared to other people currently. The Labor Department offers very clear data on that topic, last updated last month, December 2024. Do a larger percentage of black women hold advanced degrees, the highest education levels? No, they do not. 16% of black women do. 19% of women in general do. White women are ahead at 19%, and Asian women are far ahead at 30%. Do a larger percentage of black women hold bachelor's degrees? No, they do not. 23% do, but that trails the percentage of women overall at 28%. And white women at 29%. And again, Asian women are far ahead in bachelor's degrees at 37%. The only areas in which black women are comparatively ahead are in associate's degrees and some college without a degree. They are slightly ahead of other women in both categories. 13% of black women hold an associate's degree compared to 12% of women overall. 17% of black women have completed some college without earning a degree compared to 14% of women overall. But does being ahead in the lowest level degree or in incomplete degrees mean that they're the most educated group? No, of course not. It means the opposite. The larger share of lower levels of achievement is explained by others having higher levels of achievement. And that's fine, by the way. I'm not saying if you don't have a college degree, you're an idiot or a slacker. Very often, the opposite is true. Today's college campuses are industrial idiot factories. It just means that the claim that black women are the most educated demographic is provably false according to any reasonable measure other than a guy who misread some data and made a YouTube video a decade ago. And yet, it's not just our highly educated members of Congress repeating this nonsense. It's also supposedly reputable publications, though, in fairness, few recently. The Root, in 2016, black women are the most educated group, but they're still suffering from the pay gap because it turns out educated in what is still a crucial question. Upworthy in 2016, black women are the most educated group in America. So celebrate with Michelle Obama, as though he counts as a black woman. Salon in 2016 said the same. Black women are now the most educated. See 2011 census data. I'm curious if this educated author has an English degree, because what part of now means with reference to data from 5 years ago? And data that does not say what you claim it does anyway, because enrollment does not mean educational attainment any more than starting basic training makes me a soldier or an apprenticeship makes me a tradesman. It's a step on a path, and that's great, but let's not overstate the achievement, or just say it anyway and treat it as automatically true by virtue of your supposedly authoritative declaration. Not evidence, not data, just what you say, and we'll see how that works out. I would warn about the danger of a dumpster fire, but of course, that would be preferable, actually, because unlike now, at least then, the fire would be safely contained in the dumpster. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below, and especially over on X. That is at ML Christiansen. You're always welcome to coming out and chatting my live streams. Those are live on Wednesday and Sunday nights. Looking forward to it. Come on.